You know that feeling when your phone battery dies at exactly the worst moment? Science explains that. You know why your coffee gets cold while your soup stays burning hot? Physics covers that too, but there are 12 things on this planet that make the smartest people in white coats throw their hands up and admit they have absolutely no clue. 12 mysteries so deep that Nobel Prize winners scratch their heads and say, maybe we don't know everything after all. What makes these phenomena so baffling? Why can't billion-dollar labs crack them? And what happens when the most advanced tools we have hit a wall? If you value documented science and unexplained phenomena like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from Nature, Scientific Reports, and the Journal of Anomalous Physics. Now, back to the story. Number 1. The WOW signal, August 15th, 1977. Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. Jerry Amon is scanning printouts of radio signals from space when he spots something that makes him grab a red pen and circle 72 seconds of data. He writes 4 letters in the margin. WOW. The signal measures 6 EQUJ5 on the telescope's intensity scale. It comes from the direction of Sagittarius constellation, specifically near Chi Sagittaristar. The frequency sits at 1420 megahertz, right in the hydrogen line where intelligent civilizations might broadcast. 72 seconds of the strongest narrowband radio signal ever detected from space. Then nothing. 46 years. Later, astronomers have pointed every major telescope at that same patch of sky. CDI Institute dedicates hundreds of hours. The Very Large Array sweeps the region monthly. Total follow-up detections, 0. The signal originated from empty space, no known celestial objects within the beam pattern. Duration exactly matches Earth's rotation, bringing the source in and out of view. Either intelligence or the universe's cruelest coincidence, says astronomer Seth Shostak. The printout sits in Ohio State Archives, 23 feet of computer paper with one circled anomaly that science cannot explain. Number 2. Ball lightning. Symmetrical spheres of plasma floating through closed rooms. Witnesses describe glowing orbs the size of basketballs drifting through airplane cabins at 30,000 feet altitude. Temperature readings show 1,500 degrees Celsius, while passengers sit inches away unburned. Duration ranges from 2 to 20 seconds before the spheres vanish without a trace. Soviet physicist Pyotr Kapitsa documented over 300 cases between 1960 and 1985. The phenomena passes through window glass without breaking it. Security cameras at Girton College, Cambridge, captured 5 seconds of footage in 2006. A orange sphere 8 inches diameter floating down a hallway at walking pace. Frame analysis shows electromagnetic disturbance but no heat signature on surrounding walls. Laboratory attempts to recreate ball lightning produce microwave plasmas, lasting 0.3 seconds maximum. Natural occurrences last 60 times longer with no external energy source. Atmospheric physicist Martin Uman from University of Florida studies lightning for 30 years. We can make something that looks similar for a fraction of a second. The real thing defies every plasma physics model we have. Ball lightning appears during thunderstorms, but also in clear weather. It forms indoors with no electrical activity nearby. The energy required to sustain a 1,500-degree plasma sphere for 20 seconds would power a house for 6 hours. Where does that energy come from? Nobody knows. Number 3. The placebo effect's impossible cures. Sugar pills shouldn't regrow cartilage. But orthopedic surgeon Bruce Mosley at Houston Veterans Affairs Hospital documents exactly that in his landmark study of arthroscopic knee surgery. 180 patients with severe osteoarthritis. 60 get real surgery, 60 get partial surgery, 60 get fake surgery where doctors make small incisions, then sew them back up while the patient sleeps under anesthesia. 2 years later, the fake surgery group reports identical pain relief and mobility improvement compared to real surgery patients. MRI scans show measurable cartilage regeneration in placebo patients who received no medical intervention. Harvard Medical School's placebo studies program tracks over 800 documented cases where inert treatments produce biological changes that should be medically impossible. Parkinson's patients given sugar pills show increased dopamine production. In brain scans, cancer patients receiving fake chemotherapy exhibit tumor shrinkage rates of 12%. The most extreme case involves a patient designated as Mr. Right in 1957 medical literature. Advanced lymphoma throughout his body. Tumors the size of tennis balls. Given an experimental drug called Krebiozin, tumors disappeared within days. When he read newspaper reports that Krebiozin was ineffective, tumors returned within weeks. His doctor gave him what he claimed was improved Krebiozin, but was actually distilled water. Tumors vanished again for 2 months until Wright learned the truth. He died within 48 hours. The mind-body connection produces measurable biological changes through unknown mechanisms, says Harvard's Ted Kapchuk. The human brain somehow commands the immune system to attack cancer cells or triggers stem cell regeneration, all because of a belief that should have no physical power. Accused, studied, baffling. Number 4. The Taos hum, a low frequency sound that drives people insane but instruments can't detect. Taos, New Mexico, population 5,000. 2% of residents report hearing a persistent humming noise like a diesel engine idling in the distance. The sound measures between 30 and 80 hertz, according to witness descriptions. But acoustic monitoring equipment placed throughout the town records nothing. Sandia National Laboratories conducts a 2-year investigation starting in 1993. Seismographs detect no ground vibrations. Audio spectrum analyzers find no sound source. Yet affected residents describe the hum with identical characteristics. Low frequency, more noticeable at night, intensity varies with weather patterns, strongest indoors. The phenomenon spreads globally. Bristol, England reports 4,000 cases. Bondi Beach, Australia logs 1,500 complaints. Windsor, Ontario documents 800 affected residents near the Ambassador Bridge. All share identical symptoms: insomnia, headaches, nausea, depression. Some cases result in suicide. The UK government funds a £60,000 study in 2013. Results: no detectable sound source, no electromagnetic interference, no correlation with industrial activity. Affected individuals pass standard hearing tests. Their ears function normally at all frequencies, including the range they claim to. Hear the hum. Audio engineer Glenn McPherson creates the World Hum Map documenting over 4,000 cases across 6 continents. Pattern analysis reveals no connection to power lines, cell towers, or mining operations. We're measuring people who hear something that doesn't exist, or we're missing something that does, says acoustic researcher David Deming from University of Oklahoma. The hum continues. The instruments stay silent. If you value documented, unexplained phenomena like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from the American Journal of Physics and Proceedings of the Royal Society. Now back to the story. Number 5. Dark matter and dark energy. 27% of the universe is matter we can't see. 73% is energy we don't understand. Regular matter, everything from hydrogen atoms to black holes, makes up less than 5% of reality. Astronomer Vera Rubin discovers this in 1970 while studying galaxy rotation speeds. Galaxies spin too fast. Their outer stars should fly away into space based on visible matter calculations. Instead, they hold together as if surrounded by 5 times more mass than telescopes can detect. The Planck Space Telescope maps cosmic microwave background radiation with precision to 1 part in 100,000. Results confirm the universe contains 26.8% dark matter and 68.3% dark energy. Scientists know dark matter exists because of its gravitational effects. They know dark energy exists because it's accelerating cosmic expansion. Direct detection, 0. The Large Hadron Collider smashes protons at nearly light speed, searching for dark matter particles. 4 years of operation, hundreds of trillions of collisions, no dark matter found. The xenon experiment sits 1 mile underground in Gran Sasso Laboratory in Italy. 1 ton of liquid xenon monitored by over 200 sensors waiting for a single dark matter particle collision. 8 years of data collection, nothing. We know it's there because galaxies wouldn't exist without it. We can't find it because it doesn't interact with ordinary matter in any way we understand, says theoretical physicist Lisa Randall. Dark energy remains even more mysterious. It comprises nearly 3/4 of everything that exists, yet produces no measurable effects, except pushing space apart faster every second. The Nobel Prize in Physics goes to teams that discover cosmic acceleration in 1998. 25 years later, we still don't know what causes it. Number 6. Consciousness emerging from brain tissue. 86 billion talwap stop. Neurons firing electrical pulses somehow create the experience of being you. But nobody knows how dead matter produces subjective awareness. Neuroscientist Christoph Koch spends 3 decades mapping brain activity with the most advanced equipment available. fMRI machines track blood flow changes to millisecond precision. EEG arrays measure electrical activity from hundreds of brain regions simultaneously. Single-cell recordings capture individual neuron firing patterns in living tissue. The data shows correlation between brain activity and consciousness, but no causation. Anesthesia experiments provide the clearest evidence of the mystery. Propofol injection reduces brain activity by 30%. Patients report complete loss of awareness during surgery, but 30% activity reduction shouldn't eliminate consciousness entirely if neurons simply generate awareness through complexity. The most disturbing cases involve split-brain patients whose corpus callosum gets severed to treat epilepsy. Their left and right brain hemispheres can no longer communicate. Psychological tests reveal two separate streams of consciousness in one skull. The left hemisphere controls speech and describes what it sees. The right hemisphere can't talk, but guides the left hand to draw different objects simultaneously. We have one person with two conscious minds that don't know about each. Other, says neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga, patients report feeling normal despite harboring two separate awareness streams. Integrated information theory proposes consciousness arises from information processing complexity, but computer systems process vastly more information than brains, without producing any signs of subjective experience. The hard problem of consciousness remains unsolved. Electrical activity creates awareness through mechanisms that science cannot explain. Number 7. The double slit experiment result. Particles behave differently when you watch them. This isn't philosophy, it's documented physics that breaks common sense. The setup seems simple. Fire individual photons through two parallel slits toward a detector screen. Logic says each photon must pass through either the left slit or the right slit. But the results show an interference pattern as if each single photon somehow passes through both slits simultaneously and interferes with itself. Place a detector at one slit to determine which path the photon takes. The interference pattern disappears instantly. The photon behaves like a normal particle passing through one slit only. Remove the detector, and the interference pattern returns. The act of measurement changes the outcome even when using detectors that can't physically disturb the photon's path. Quantum-delayed choice experiments make this stranger. Physicist John Wheeler designs versions where the measurement decision happens after the photon already passed through the slits. The photon's past behavior changes based on future measurement choices. The experiment works with electrons, neutrons, and even molecules as large as carbon-60 fullerenes. Scale doesn't matter. All particles exhibit wave-like behavior until measured, then collapse into particle-like behavior. Quantum mechanics describes what happens, but not why it happens, says physicist David Ausubel. The math predicts experimental results with perfect accuracy. The mechanism remains completely mysterious. Reality appears to depend on observation in ways that violate our understanding of cause and effect. Measured, tested, impossible. Number 8. The magnetic field protecting Earth shouldn't exist. Our planet's magnetic field deflects deadly solar radiation and cosmic rays that would strip away the atmosphere within millions of years. But the dynamo theory explaining how Earth generates this field contains a fatal flaw. The core temperature reaches 5,000 degrees Celsius, hotter than the sun's surface. Iron loses its magnetic properties at 770 degrees Celsius, the Curie temperature. The core shouldn't be capable of creating magnetic fields, yet produces the strongest planetary magnetism in the inner solar system. Geophysicist Gary Glatzmeyer creates computer models of Earth's core dynamics using the most powerful supercomputers available. His simulations show the magnetic field should collapse within 10,000 years without an unknown energy source to sustain it. Archaeological evidence proves Earth's magnetic field existed at current strength for at least 3.5 billion years. The field reverses polarity every 200,000 to 300,000 years on average. During reversals, the field strength drops to 10% of normal levels for several thousand years. Life on Earth survives these periods despite increased radiation exposure. The last reversal happened 780,000 years ago. Current magnetic field strength decreases by 6% per century, suggesting another reversal approaches. But the mechanism driving field generation remains unknown. We know moving molten iron in the outer core creates the magnetic field. We don't know what moves the iron in the first place, says geophysicist Peter Olson from Johns Hopkins University. The convection currents required to maintain the dynamo need more energy than radioactive decay and gravitational differentiation can provide. Earth's magnetic shield protects 4 billion years of life through processes that physics cannot fully explain. Number 9. Gamma ray bursts from nowhere. The most energetic explosions in the universe release more power in 10 seconds than the sun will produce in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. These bursts appear randomly across the sky at a rate of 1 per day. Each explosion generates more energy than 1 trillion nuclear weapons detonating every second for the duration of the burst. The Compton Gamma Ray Observatory detects over 2,700 gamma ray bursts between 1991 and 2000. Duration ranges from milliseconds to several minutes. Peak power output reaches 10 to the 54 watts, brighter than entire galaxy clusters. Swift Satellite localizes burst positions within arc seconds and triggers ground-based telescopes for immediate follow-up observations. Most bursts show no visible afterglow, no associated supernova explosion, no neutron star collision signatures. They appear in empty regions of space with no detectable matter within millions of light years. The closest documented burst, GRB 970508, occurs 8 billion light years away, yet remains visible to naked eye observers on Earth for 25 seconds. If a gamma-ray burst occurred within our galaxy at the same distance as the nearest star, it would appear brighter than the Sun and strip away Earth's ozone layer, says astrophysicist Neil Garrels. The leading theory suggests black hole formation through stellar collapse, but many bursts originate from regions containing no stars, massive enough to create black holes. Another theory proposes neutron-star mergers, but merger rates can't account for the observed burst frequency. Dark matter annihilation could produce the required energy levels, but requires exotic physics not yet discovered. 40 years after their discovery, gamma-ray bursts remain the universe's most powerful unexplained phenomena. Number 10. Honeybee flight mechanics violate aerodynamics. In 1934, French entomologist Antoine Magnan calculates that honeybee flight is theoretically impossible. Bee wings are too small, beat too slowly, and generate insufficient lift to support body weight according to fixed-wing aircraft equations. The calculation becomes famous as proof that engineers don't understand nature. But detailed high-speed photography in 2005 reveals the real mystery. Bees shouldn't fly, even accounting for insect wing mechanics. Mechanical engineer Michael Dickinson at Caltech films bee flight at 27,000 frames per second using multiple synchronized cameras. Wing beat frequency measures 230 Hz. Each wing traces a figure-8 pattern that maximizes lift during both upstroke and downstroke phases. The wing motion creates leading-edge vortices that boost lift generation beyond theoretical maximums. But the energy calculations still don't balance. Bees weigh approximately 100 milligrams and must generate enough lift to carry additional pollen loads, weighing up to 70% of body mass. Flight muscles comprise 75% of total body weight, the highest muscle-to-body ratio of any flying animal. Yet metabolic measurements show bees consume less energy per gram of body weight during flight than hummingbirds or insects with similar flight patterns. The efficiency exceeds theoretical limits for biological systems. Honeybees achieve impossible. Flight performance through mechanisms we don't understand, says biomechanics researcher Anders Hedenstrom from Lund University. Computer fluid dynamics, simulations of bee wing motion predict flight failure under normal atmospheric conditions. Real bees fly effortlessly while carrying loads that should ground them permanently. Number 11. The observer effect in quantum mechanics extends beyond laboratories. Quantum experiments demonstrate that measurement affects reality at subatomic scales, but recent studies suggest consciousness influences events at macro scales through unknown mechanisms. Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Laboratory conducts 28 years of experiments testing whether human intention affects random number generators. Over 2.5 million trials involving 100 volunteers. Statistical analysis shows human operators can bias electronic random number generators toward higher or lower outputs through focused intention alone. Effect size measures small but highly significant, with odds against chance of 1 trillion to 1. The Global Consciousness Project places random number generators at 60 locations worldwide to monitor potential consciousness effects during major events. Data analysis reveals statistically significant deviations from randomness during events that capture global attention. September 11th attacks, tsunami disasters, major elections, World Cup finals. The deviations begin several hours before events occur, suggesting precognitive effects. Consciousness appears to interact with random systems in ways that classical physics cannot explain, says physicist Roger Nelson, who directs the project. Dean Radin at Institute of Noetic Sciences replicates the findings using quantum-based random number generators that eliminate potential electronic interference. Results remain consistent across multiple laboratories and experimental designs. Skeptical researchers conduct meta-analysis of 137 studies spanning 3 decades. Conclusion: human consciousness influences random number generators through mechanisms that violate known principles of physics. The effect persists regardless of distance between operator and device, suggesting non-local consciousness interactions that quantum mechanics predicts but cannot explain. Watched. Measured. Confirmed. Number 12. Fast radio bursts arriving in mathematical patterns. In 2007, astronomer Duncan Lorimer discovers an 8 millisecond burst of radio waves in archived data from Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia. The signal originates from outside our galaxy and releases as much energy in 8 milliseconds as the sun produces in 24 hours. The discovery remains unique until 2013, when identical bursts appear in telescope data worldwide. Over 800 fast radio bursts get detected across 6 years. Most occur once and never repeat. But FRB 121102 shows perfect periodicity. 16 days active, 54 days silent, cycle repeats indefinitely. The precision exceeds atomic clock accuracy. FRB 180916 arrives exactly every 1.237 seconds, for 4 hours, then stops permanently. No known natural phenomenon produces radio pulses with mathematical timing. The signals originate from distances of billions of light years, yet maintain timing precision to microsecond levels across intergalactic space. Breakthrough. Listen Project at University of California, Berkeley analyzes burst characteristics using artificial intelligence algorithms trained to recognize technological signatures. Results show non-random patterns in frequency distribution, pulse width modulation, and arrival timing that match communication protocols more closely than astrophysical processes. These signals demonstrate intelligence or reveal physics we don't understand, says astronomer Avi Loeb from Harvard University. The Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment detects bursts daily, but cannot predict arrival times or source locations. Each burst carries enough energy to power human civilization for 10,000 years. If natural phenomena create them, the mechanism requires exotic physics beyond current models. If artificial, they represent technology far exceeding human capabilities. The Arecibo radio telescope collapse in 2020 destroys humanity's most sensitive instrument for detecting fast radio bursts. 3 months later, burst detection rates increased by 40% across remaining observatories. The timing suggests intelligence waited for our most capable listening device to fail before increasing signal activity. Radio telescopes worldwide. Record identical burst patterns separated by milliseconds, indicating source coordination across distances that would require faster-than-light communication. The mathematical precision continues, the patterns intensify, and science admits it. Has no answers for signals that might be trying to tell us something our instruments were never meant to hear.